All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today for MS and Entrepreneurship Student Ambassador webinar for June 2025. If you are here, more than likely you are applying for or are planning to go to school here in the fall of 2025. My name is Brian Brinkman. I am the Director of Recruiting and Advising here at the Jake Job Center for Entrepreneurship. I work with everyone who comes through our program, and I'm so excited that you're all here today to learn about the MS Entrepreneurship Program. And what better way to learn about it than to learn about it via some of our excellent student ambassadors. I'm going to introduce them here shortly, but we're going to be joined by a recent grad as well as a current student in the program, both of whom should be able to share quite a few different thoughts, tips, experiences, things that they wish that they had known before they got into the program, so on and so forth, to provide you all with as much information and insight as possible. Our chat is open. I will just kick that off here. Welcome, everyone. Hopefully you all can see that. If you have questions throughout the webinar, please do not hesitate to throw them in the chat. I will try to funnel those to our ambassadors as we're going through the presentation today. In addition, at the end, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you all have. Should we run long, or should you have questions that are more focused on your own specific experience, your own application, do not hesitate to set up a meeting with me. I'm more than happy to work with you all to talk through your questions about our program, your questions about your application, so on and so forth. We're here to support you as you move forward in your overall entrepreneurial journey. So, what we are going to do today, quick outline of the presentation. I'm going to provide you all with a brief overview of the Jake Job Center for Entrepreneurship, as well as CU Denver at large. We'll talk through, we'll introduce you to our student ambassadors and hear their experiences. They will talk along with me about our program structure, a little bit of information about our curriculum. We'll talk a bit about the entrepreneurship certificates and the opportunities for those within the program, the program goals, and the focus that we have on experiential learning, our networking and our mentorship opportunities that are a huge part of the experiential component of the program and a huge reason for success for many students within the program. I'll share a bit of information about our tuition and our scholarships, as well as we will dive into the application at large so you have an idea of what to anticipate through the application process, how long it takes, what you really should be focused on. We'll hear a few student testimonials, both from the current students who are on the call today, as well as a few others, to give you a sense of what do students think about coming to school here in our program. And then, like I noted, we'll take some Q&A towards the end if there's any questions that you have. This is currently being recorded so that we're able to provide you all with information following the webinar. If for whatever reason you miss something or you have questions, I'll be posting this to YouTube before the end of the day, and I will be sending out the link to all of you. All right, so let's talk here quickly about our student ambassadors. We're joined here today by Nic Shaffer, who will be graduating as of right now, fall 2026, and Lukas Behr, who just graduated, coming up on a month ago at this point in time. So I'm going to bring them on camera here and let you all meet them and hear their thoughts. Lukas, how are you, man?
Good. Thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it. An opportunity to stay connected with the school. Yeah, my name's Lukas Behr. I just graduated with the MS in entrepreneurship. Overall, great experience. I was interested in this program because of my deep passion for entrepreneurship. I actually graduated from CU Boulder, my undergrad, and then went straight into this program. And I'm so happy I did. It was overall an incredible experience, and I gained so many valuable lessons, met so many incredible people, and learned so much about the field that I'm passionate about.
Wonderful. I love that. And yeah, you came right out of your undergraduate studies and went right through this program, did it within 1 year. We'll talk a bit about the different opportunities for how someone can do this program, both putting your head down and running towards the finish line or taking a little bit more time, where that helps students, in both aspects. And I'm just so excited about it. Plus, you're going into entrepreneurship right now, launching 2 startups, moving to Austin, Texas. You're living, breathing embodiment of this program. I absolutely love it. Thank you,
Thank
Lucas. Yes. Nic, how are you doing here today?
Good, good. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, it's a pleasure
Abs-
being here. But yeah, so I actually graduated with my undergraduate from CU Denver last or December, so December 2024, and mine was a business administration marketing. And I was either considering taking a little bit of time and then going back to get an MBA. But then I started attending some of the events held at the Jake Jab Center for Entrepreneurship, and I just kind of felt like rather than going the route of the MBA, something a little bit more flexible and exciting was kind of right for me. And so far, I would have to say that I'm glad with my decision. But yeah.
We are glad to have you. And yeah, Nic is similar to Lucas, came right out of undergrad, knew that you wanted to go to graduate school, knew that you wanted to do business, and we'll talk a little bit more about it as we go through the presentation here today. But realize that entrepreneurship was the right path for you. Now, currently, you're working a summer internship here at the Jake Job Center, and I've been very active in our events. So yeah, both sides here in terms of how to maximize this. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you both joining me, and we're going to have more thoughts here from both of you as we move through. I want to share for the larger audience out here just a couple thoughts on CU Denver at large from a business school standpoint. So I am currently physically in the business school right now. We are right downtown here in Denver, Colorado. A lot of amenities, great restaurants around us, a lot of Fortune 500 companies, a lot of internship opportunities, a lot of postgraduate work opportunities. Our entire entrepreneurial network is based here in the Denver metro area. And we are the only urban research campus that is located here in downtown Denver. There are other universities throughout the Denver metro area. We are the one right downtown. We're ASCSB accredited. This means that you are going to an institution that is in the top 5% of business schools worldwide, and also no questions asked from an accreditation standpoint as you move through your studies. We are the most diverse research institute here in the state of Colorado. We work with students of all ages, of all backgrounds. Ultimately, why students choose to CU Denver tends to come down to the specializations in terms of what we can focus on, the experiential side, but also we have a lot of non-traditional students. So we have a lot of students who come from undergrad into grad, but we also have a lot of first generation students, a lot of students who go back to college. 42% of our student body is students of color. 8% are active duty or military veterans. 7% are international students. We have worked with students across the board throughout the world to give them an excellent education here in the heart of Denver. We are the number 2 best place to live, according to US News and World Report, and the number 6 best place to start a business, according to Wallet Hub. This is an exciting, welcoming, fantastic town. Anyone who has lived here knows that it is truly sunny all the time. There's great culture here, great food, good sports, great weather, great activities, just a ton to really sink your teeth into while you're going to school. In terms of the Jake Job Center for Entrepreneurship, so a quick background here. We were founded in 1996 as the Bard Center. We were renamed in 2013 following a $12 million gift from Jake Jobs. If you're from Colorado, I'm going to guess that you know who Jake Jobs is. If you are not from Colorado, he is on the screen here. He is one of the greatest entrepreneurs of the state. opened American Furniture Warehouse in the mid 1970s and has built it into one of the most respected and best furniture stores in America. It is through his spirit that we operate. We are an academic department and a resource center here at the Jake Job Center. We are here with the explicit goal of fostering entrepreneurship at CU Denver. So we do this by working directly with our individual students, but also students outside of the entrepreneurial department and outside of the master's program. It's a really diverse, really engaging, really exciting center. We develop relationships with local businesses. This offers opportunities for both mentorships and internships for students. And we offer activities such as the climb for entrepreneurial students to have the opportunity to really think and act like an entrepreneur from day one in the program. The goal here is not simply you learn a bunch of theory and then go and apply it. The goal here is that you learn as you're doing, as you're making mistakes, as you're succeeding. We want you to have that experience within the program so that you're able to really leave the program feeling like, I've already done this before. I know how to do it. I know the pitfalls. I know what to anticipate. That's the ultimate goal here. And then quickly, for anyone who is applying for our program or anyone who is thinking about coming to our program, my contact info is here on the page. I'd encourage you to take a quick screenshot of this. I oversee recruitment and advising for our graduate level students, as well as I work with undergraduate students from an advising standpoint. I've been doing this for about a decade. I love working with college students. I think it's such a rich, formative period in someone's life. You have the opportunity to learn a bunch. You have the opportunity to make mistakes that don't necessarily come back and kick you years later on. You have the opportunity to really awaken ideas and possibilities in your own brain, and you have the opportunity to meet people who can really help and shape your life. And I love being a part of that. I love seeing that, and I love helping guide students towards the right next decisions for them. All right. So we're going to talk about the MS program, and I'm going to get some thoughts here from Nick and Lucas, but a quick overview here for everyone. This is a customizable 30 credit curriculum. So 10 courses is what you are planning to take within this program. No more, no less. Ultimately, the 10 courses are here that we want them to align with your interests, your goals, and your overall knowledge gaps. I'll get into that, but that means there's no prerequisites. This is a fully immersive and flexible degree opportunity for you. This allows you to determine where your skill gaps are, where your successes, where your long-term goals are, and really make those tailor made for what you want to do long-term. We offer courses in everything from small business accounting to visionary leadership and business development, mission-driven entrepreneurship, and lean marketing, as well as students in our program get to participate in the Climb, the Rutbridge's Venture Fund, where you get to really think and act like an investor, investing in real companies, mentorship opportunities with local entrepreneurs, and internships for credit. Lucas, I want to start with you. You did this program in 1 year. You took advantage of the full reverse flexibility of the program, but putting yourself in a position where you were able to really think about how to make this program work for your immediate schedule. Tell me a little bit about the flexibility of this program and how that affected you as a student.
Yeah, the flexibility was everything. I definitely would not have been able to do it if it weren't for the flexibility. I work full time as well. So being able to work full time while also doing school first full time, it was no easy feat, but I'm one of those people where I need to fill my schedule in order to feel productive, and this made it all possible. I would work from 9 to 3, go 3 o'clock straight to Denver, be in Denver from 5 to 9 in class, and those days were long, but they were also the days that you were most proud of yourself at the end of it, and you got to meet people, you got to talk to people, you got to learn. The it was very important that I was able to do have a flexible schedule, and I'm so happy that I could, you know.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, and that's one thing we find, I work with all of our students and most of them are working full time. And so that is just a reality of where you're at in life at that point in time. And having to find a program that will work within your overall schedule can be challenging. We see a lot of programs here that are very rigid, very strict. Ultimately, we want you to be in a position where you choose what works for you. Nic, you are doing the program in the other flexible method. You are taking a little bit more time, allowing the program to kind of simmer in a way that I really like. I think that students who have the ability to take a longer period in time, they get a different experience. And the way the program is designed is so that students can do this either in a quick sprint or over a slow, a longer period in time. Tell me how that has affected you from a planning standpoint, from a studying standpoint, and how it's made it work for you.
Yeah, so definitely. I think I kind of wanted to because I started in the winter, I kind of wanted to take it like slower, not only just for like, like focusing on one class at a time, being able to work and really just, like digest it at a slower rate. However, also in order to like kind of get the best out of some of the clubs and things that you spoke about. So like the Rep Bridges Venture Fund, it's kind of like they ask that, well, they don't, it's not like a formal thing, but it's nice to like be able to be there for longer than just 1 year, because you really start to form relationships and you see more than one investing cycle. And so I thought, I wasn't in any rush to do it. And so, to do the program quickly. And so I decided to kind of take it a slower pace. And that also goes for the climb. And so, the climb is kind of this like, pitch competition where you do like the ideation and like there's certain classes that essentially can kind of go hand in hand with that and build up to where you pitch and so I kind of wanted to essentially like kind of take a step back this semester and go and be a fly on the wall and watch and see what some people are doing and see what others are doing and then kind of like in going into next year then when I like formulate my idea and do all that I've already kind of seen how it's done and so that's just the way I like to do things but yeah I don't know also though I think what's really cool and like about the flexibility of the program is there's so many like different types of like online classes you could take or like Lucas was talking about like the night classes is something I really enjoy and so for those of you yeah who are working full time which most of us are um that's a really, really nice part about it. And, some people think like, oh my gosh, like a couple hours of a night class, that sounds like a lot, but really it flies by. And I found that I
Yeah.
enjoyed it much more than kind of like daytime classes that I had in my undergraduate. I thought that, you end up like talking so much more with your peers. And I don't know, I just enjoyed that part as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's really valuable to share. I mean, that's something I want to ask about for you guys is um, not only are there different time frames of how you can take the program in terms of all at once or over a longer period in time, but there's also different methods. You can do this program online, you can do this program in person, you can do a combo of both. Lucas, how did you find the kind of online versus in person, and does that differentiation help you from a flexibility standpoint? Where did that all kind of leave you?
Yeah, I mean, online is definitely easier to make your schedule work. However, I did find that when I was in person, I had more value in that. I learned more, I paid more attention, I met more people, I got to know my professors better. So I would always recommend being in person as much as possible. But at the same time, being able to be online for some of these classes was essential for me, and making my life work properly. Um, and like what Nick was saying with the spacing it out more, uh, I looking back, I wish I would have done that just so I could have gotten that value, of like the rut bridges and seeing the climb multiple times, this and that. I mean, I'm sure I'll be back, but because I wish I could have digested a little bit more.
Mm,
I
mm.
learned and I loved, um, but I mean, I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah, no, I get that, and that's it's the interesting trade-off of the program as we have built it out and as we've designed it. Some programs, there's one method of how we do this. For us, we want to make sure it works best with everyone's, excuse me, with everyone's life, and at the end of the day, you know, I don't think anybody wants to leave college when they finish it up, one way or the other. I totally get it. Cool. Thank you, guys. More to come. So quickly, just kind of a reiteration here. This is a customizable 30 credit curriculum. You take 10 courses in any order that you choose. Now, the method and timing of that is to be determined. I work with all students from a overall degree planning standpoint. So I will work with you to build out what classes do you want to take and when, what order, all of that sort of stuff. And then we'll put you in a position as we meet on a semester by semester basis to update your degree plan, put you in a position where you're able to say, hey, I took these two classes and they were great for me. I don't think I need to take another one that's similar. I want to go in this direction. Or this is now what I want to focus on in entrepreneurship. How do I make this work? Or, hey, I've got something that's coming up this semester. I can only take one class. Going to have to readjust my graduation date. All of that is doable. All of that is something I will work with you on. Our classes being offered online and in person, and introducing a new high flex model that will be coming here in the fall. There's a lot of opportunities for students to take our program in the best way possible for them. It's also stackable, which means that it can apply to other degrees in a really positive way because they're all elective based courses. We also have dual degree options, information systems, international business, the one-year MBA program, lots and lots of opportunities. And then if you're on this call and you are an undergraduate student at CU Denver, you should be mindful of the 4+1 option. I'd be more than happy to talk with you about that to make sure that you know everything about that and we can see if it fits for you. The certificate is another opportunity for someone to look at our program and ways that you can take our program. Many of the students who come to our program come in as an entrepreneurship student. Some of them come in as a certificate student and they transition into the entrepreneurship department or the entrepreneurship master. The biggest difference is 3 classes versus 10. The certificates can be earned at the undergraduate level and the graduate level. The goal here is trialability. We want you to test these classes out, test out the concepts, test out working within entrepreneurship, and compare that to where you ultimately want to focus on from a studying standpoint. You're not required to be registered in the master's program to complete the undergraduate or the graduate level certificate, and this allows electives to really expand for students the program and provide avenues for you to focus on what it is that you want to study. So what we typically see with a student who comes in for the certificate is they take 3 classes, really focused on skill gaps that they have, and then they move on. And most of them end up coming back and completing the full program. Some of them say, hey, you know what? This is exactly what I needed to learn. I'm good. I'm ready to go on with my career. We'll work with you either way. So in terms of our curriculum here, there are 10 classes across 30 courses. Classes such as concept development and business model development and planning, AI entrepreneurship, leadership and new ventures, corporate entrepreneurship, and tech skills for entrepreneurship, among many others. There are study abroad options. There are no prerequisites. This is, again, designed for working professionals. There are internship options for you to complete, and I can work with you on that if you're interested. And the program completion needs to be done within 1 to 5 years. So if you start this program, you say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to go part-time and I really want it reduced because I've got a lot going on at home. I want to make sure that this works okay for me. We can make that work for you as long as you complete it within 5 years. Tell me, Nick, let me bring you on really quick. You've only taken a couple classes, but you've got a few on the docket here. Give me one class you really enjoyed and one class you're looking forward to.
One class that I absolutely loved, and I actually just finished it a couple weeks ago, was corporate entrepreneurship with Brian McDonald. He's kind of a newer professor at the university, and he came from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, where he oversaw like a lot of like internal marketing. However, he's had quite the career. And so I think having somebody from, like Morgan Stanley, or like from like these huge like companies who've kind of like, had an entrepreneurial mindset within these, companies that you might consider to be more bureaucratic is really
Yeah.
interesting to see. And so like I really enjoyed, yeah, I feel like he had a lot of great current material. And that's something that the professors at this school I realized have done amazing with is just bringing in like current material. Like if something's going on, like the tariffs, are changing, that completely, affects obviously like corporate entrepreneurship and,
Oh, yeah.
where one of these companies might try to pivot or, I don't know, their strategy and everything. And so I thought it was really engaging. And he also gave us a lot of like freedom to kind of take projects and, really like make them our own. And so like, I mean, a couple of the projects we had really focused around like develop an idea within an existing company, and so we
Mm.
all got to get like really creative, and then pretty soon we're like posting. I we had these like 20-minute presentations, and like I found mine, I was like accidentally going over just because when you start to get creative and think about like, oh, like if I could do anything within a company, what would I do? It's kind of exciting. I don't know. I liked it. Maybe I'm a nerd, but I liked it.
No, I love
But it
that.
was
And
really fun.
that's something we really think about within our program is this idea of entrepreneurship versus entrepreneurship. So business startup development versus how do you become an entrepreneur within an organization? You have the structure of the organization in play. How do you keep that company agile on their toes? So I really appreciate you sharing that. I love that class. I think Brian McDonald has been fantastic for us. Um, what is one class you're looking forward to taking here coming up?
So, I'm actually looking at this list. I'm looking forward to taking AI driven entrepreneurship. I think that sounds very interesting. Especially, I mean, right now more than ever, it's like AI is built into almost everything. And so kind of just to explore what that looks like within, building a new business, I think could be really fascinating. I'm definitely gonna sign
Yeah.
up for that one. Yeah.
It's another great class. Another very, very engaging professor, Anud. She is very, very thoughtful of how to present both AI in a usable manner, but also how would you use this in a company, and what exactly would the benefit here be here, which is kind of the $1 million question right now: is how do we actually maximize AI to make it help entrepreneurs and help small businesses succeed. So great stuff there. Lucas, tell me a little bit about your favorite class you took. Give me one class that you really enjoyed taking.
Yeah, so when the first class I ever took, it was called High Impact Sales, and I really enjoyed that class. I've always been a very like salesy oriented person. Even when I'm not trying to sell something, it's like I feel like hey, want to come to the movies with me? This is why you should be coming to the movies with me, the type of deal. It was a pretty cool like structure around the class. At the end of it, you made a full like I remember it was intense, but I made this 26-page business sales model, and I was so impressed with myself after finishing it. It was so like deep and nitty gritty into like rejections and how to oppose those rejections, how
Mm,
like five sales points, the biggest sales points for this business. And it was really cool seeing like this full gauge of how you are going to sell this company to somebody. That was really interesting. And I know you said one, but I'm also gonna highlight another one, which was my
please.
favorite, which was the startup plan. Um, Pretty much where you do a full scale, like start to finish of, a simplified business model to execution. And I ended up wanting to work on somebody else's business, and I like the term fly on the wall, and kind of peer into that, like see their strategies in their business, and then somehow like ended up still pitching my own business at the end of class, which I was grateful for. And it's something I really like about this whole program is it's like even inside the class, it's flexible because I was working on somebody else's business for the whole entire time of the startup plan, but then I was also turning in assignments for my business. So then I could also receive feedback on mine, even though I wanted to peer into somebody else's business and see where I could give help to them. And so I
That's
got graded on my own work and I got feedback on my own work, but also helped somebody else's work too.
it's a really, really great point, and that's something that I think, I get this question all the time from students is, and, will I be able to apply my business to it? And it's something that we try to do from day one is put you in a position where all the assignments theoretically should work along with your business. Sometimes it's beneficial for students to step out and do something more theoretical, but I think that the best that someone gets out of this program is when they apply what their business concepts are towards these overall classes so that they can get as much help hands-on and as much insights into how to make their own business succeed because that's ultimately the reason why you're doing this. So
Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
by the end of that course, my professor even was like, "Call me. Let's talk. Maybe I'll help you out with, funding for that business." I'm like, "There we go."
That's
So,
it. That's it. And that's a really good point as well. I mean, that's something that we see from students all the time because all of your professors are entrepreneurs. They're all looking for the next big thing. They're all looking for a good deal. They're all looking for an investment opportunity. There's obviously no guarantee that this can work out for every student, but I have absolutely seen students within our program complete the program with investments in hand because it allows them the opportunity to take that next step forward or set up those relationships so that you can develop those relationships and potentially have an investment down the road. A lot of different opportunities for students to really be successful here. That's not just, hey, here's a business model that may or may not apply to you. All of these apply to students individually because you are able to focus on your overall business. Wonderful stuff, guys. All right, jumping ahead here. So, what is the biggest argument? As Lucas said, even if he's just inviting someone to a movie, he's like, here are the top 5 reasons you need to come to a movie with me. You know, I am here. My goal is to get all of you to take our MS in Entrepreneurship program. I think if you're looking at business, I think it's the best program to take because a small business leadership program, a small business management program, puts you in a position where you are thinking about all aspects of the business no matter how big or how small your business ends up being, you need to know all sides of the business to really be thinking about doing it right. So, a couple reasons why I think it's beneficial to do our program. Number one, it's exclusive. This is the only MS Entrepreneurship program in Colorado. So, all resources towards MS Entrepreneurship are guided and focused here on our program. Um, we have a hold on the MS Entrepreneurship program itself for the first 10 years of the program. So there are no states, no schools in Colorado can open one of these until we have gotten to a solidified steady state. So all entrepreneurship focus will be here on this program in the state. Affordability. Our tuition rate is incredibly adaptable and agile for students. International students and out-of-state students pay an extremely reduced subsidized rate for the program that allows it to be essentially in-state tuition. Plus, we have scholarships for all of our students to take additional funds off of the overall tuition of the program. The program is flexible, as Nick and Lucas have highlighted. You can take classes online, in person, hybrid. You can build your own curriculum. So we work with you to make sure that the curriculum works for you rather than you work within the curriculum. The experiential side, we want you to go beyond the classroom. We want you to learn by doing. And the mindset shift, we want you to create growth with minimal resources. That's ultimately the goal here for you. So, Lucas, starting with you, pick one of these. What one of these resonates with you and why you did this program?
I mean, you could easily say for all of them, um, but I'd highlight the mindset shift, and it's continual. Every day your mindset shifts on because you're schooling, and if you really do take this like seriously regarding your business or businesses, uh, I mean, your mindset's constantly shifting. Whether it's this opinion that somebody gave you, good or bad, they all help. And So it's really cool to just get so many different opinions on when I was working on my business, and I was always shifting and creating new and taking back something, or it helped a lot.
I love that. Yeah, the idea that like you come into this program thinking one way, but you go out thinking a slightly different way. That's excellent. Nick, how about you? You're still in the starting points of the program. You've still got part of it ahead of you, but what is pick one of these? Why you chose the program?
Kind of like Lucas said, they're all, I think, all part of the reason why I chose. However, I think the highlight of the program definitely is, for me at least, is a combination of the exclusivity and the experiential nature. Just like, there's so many MBA students out there. So, if you're considering, starting your own business, I think a lot of students go the MBA route, or maybe they'll become an accountant, or maybe they'll just say, screw it, I don't need it. I'm gonna go watch a bunch of YouTube. But the exclusivity of this program, I mean, you open up, like, you get like access to this incredible network here in Denver. And, I'm meeting all these different venture capitalists from, Rocky's Ventures, from Denver Angels. It's not like I have my own business right now, but I've seen the way in which some of my friends who have developed their businesses have, gotten this access and formed these relationships. And, now they're getting serious money for their ventures. And it's just really exciting to see, because like it's hard to kind of get access to those pockets, of like, you know, impactful people, I would say. And so that's what's really neat about this is, if you involve yourself, if you show up to just different events and, just spark conversations with people, you never know who you're going to meet. And so I think that's something that's really neat. Like kind of even like what I was saying through the professor Brian McDonald, like through him, I was able to meet Andrea Zaretsky, who's the CMO of Morgan Stanley. And now we have like Zoom coffee dates, which is just incredible. It's like I didn't expect to have kind of like a mentorship in that sense. But this program really opens up the door for students. And I think that's incredible.
Love that. Yeah, and the mentorship side of things is something we try to work out with every student, giving students the opportunity to meet with leaders in the larger industry that you are focused on as a student. We try to meet you halfway there as best we can, and if that works out, it's a huge opportunity for students to really get their thoughts across, really hear what someone who has been grinding it out in that industry feels like. Oftentimes when we think about an industry we want to work in, there's a very romantic sentiment to it of how awesome it will be to be working in there. And then you talk to people who are actually in the industry and you end up getting, a slightly different thought and a little bit more color and a little bit more perspective. And that's just really helpful for students. All right, so program goals and learning outcomes. When we kind of think about what we want you all to get out of this program, we want you, Lucas said this very well. We want you to cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset. We want there to be a shift where you can do more with less, where you can ultimately build out ideas, thinking about what will ultimately be successful within your market. Plus, also, if you don't have a marketing director, you know how to do some elements of marketing. If you don't have a finance CFO in the company, you are able to keep the books active. All that sort of stuff is really beneficial for students. We also want you to have the opportunity to communicate effectively. We want you to be able to provide an argument based on your ideas and your beliefs that other people can hear and understand what you mean and become convinced by it. That's a huge way for entrepreneurs to be successful. We want you to lead entrepreneurially. We want you to think like a small business leader, even if you're overseeing a small wing of a larger organization. We want you to be mission driven. We want you to think about giving back, how to provide social justice opportunities, how do we provide environmental opportunities, really put you as a student in a position where you can think, how do I give back with whatever success is going to come my way from a business leader standpoint. We want you to think about innovation and how to capitalize on it. When I started working here, ChatGPT was just introduced, and there were so many questions swirling around here about are students cheating? Is this allowed? And pretty quickly, the university recognized rightly so, hey, we need to pivot here. We need to make this an opportunity for students to gain and learn from because this is coming whether we like it or not. So we have to adapt. That's just one example of how, as a university, we've adjusted. But from a business leader and business development standpoint, you're going to have so many opportunities where you need to level up and think about how to innovate rather than do it the same old way you always have. And then finally, go beyond just theory. This is a huge, huge point. We want this to be as experiential as possible. We do not want you to think about just the theory side of things. So, Lucas, as a recent grad, pick one of these learning outcomes and give us just a quick background of how you succeeded here.
Yeah, I think that, cultivating an entrepreneurial mindset is I mean, it's my everyday. I go to the gym, I listen to entrepreneurial podcasts. I I'm always inside of my business at like whatever step of life I'm in. And just like, making it a part of you, it's great, but it's also difficult because, you feel like all these people rely on you and then you realize it's not that important for everyone else as it is for you. But, I love that. I love that it's so important to me. And having this mindset is, it's become a part of who I am in every aspect, of my life.
I love that. Yeah, it is one of those things that once you become successful within small business leadership, it kind of seeps everywhere because you start to see opportunity, ability to cut costs, ability to cut red tape, ability to just focus on what do I need to do to be successful as a business leader? That's the number one question at times. Nic, how about you? Couple classes in, but how do you feel these learning objectives have suited you?
I would definitely say go beyond just theory has really stood out to me. I'm lucky to be here in Denver, and there's like if you don't live here in Denver, there's a lot of like remote students or people who commute in from Boulder and different areas like that. But since I'm just right down the street, I find myself showing up to like pretty much all the events and things like that. And so I was actually lucky enough to land myself an experiential learning opportunity or land myself with an experiential learning opportunity this summer for the Tech Up Incubator, which is kind of in tandem with the city of Denver, Dito. And so, yeah, we it's really cool. I'm a graduate assistant. There's three other assistants, and I think it's just really fun getting to see these 34 different entrepreneurs and like 26, 27 different businesses ranging from tech to agriculture, everybody's just meeting like once a week and we all come together and there's just different workshops and each workshop, from marketing to like, how to essentially like get ready for launch, how to, finance your business, what are the legal ramifications. And I think it's really cool getting to see all these businesses figure out, you know, um, or navigate that themselves. And then also being able to help each other out, like, oh, like I'm starting a marketing agency, I can help you out. And just, like being like that kind of in person, like Lucas even touched on earlier, like there's such value in being in person and going beyond just like the textbook and stuff. But even, I mean, regardless of whether or not, like, you're going like participating in something like Tech Up or the Climb,
Mm,
just in the classrooms too, there's a lot of going beyond just theory, like a lot of experiential learning. You get to really get creative and like work with others in order to work with others in order to innovate new ideas and you know a lot of not as much like test work where you're just like read study 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 test
yeah.
but you actually get to kind of get your hands dirty and learn by doing, so I like that.
It's one thing I tell students all the time is the last thing you want to do is spend all this money to try to launch a company only for that company to fall apart. And you have lost that money, you've lost that time. One of the beautiful things about our program, as you probably are picking up on, is you are focused on your business within the program. So sure, there's some investments that are made. Sure, you're investing in education. But at the end of the day, the degree is going to help you one way or the other. If your business doesn't succeed 3, 5 years after graduation, you're not you haven't just lost all that money. You have this new wealth of knowledge as well you can fall back on.
Could I add one
So
thing to that too?
please, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, like And that's something because I mean, since I personally haven't decided like if I want to start my own business yet, or maybe I want to go that like corporate entrepreneurship route, I'm not exactly sure yet. So I didn't mention this, but seeing it within a ton of my, friends that I've made in this program who participated in the climb, the feedback culture here is, I think, one of the best parts about it. It's not like you said, like not like people are just developing their business being like, oh, I hope that it works. There's a lot of testing, a lot of iteration. People aren't afraid to, give constructive criticism, and I think that is incredibly valuable if you have, an idea and you want it to succeed. Being able to kind of iterate that and learn from, the perspective of others. And some things you don't always have to take their people's advice, but you get to really talk to so many different people. It can be like speed dating for your business idea and seeing if it works out. So I think that's a great part about the program too.
It's a great point, and that's a great segue here to our slide about experiential learning. I appreciate that. This is the process of learning through experience and learning through reflection on doing. The last thing we want you to do as a student is just be studying in a textbook, and then a year to 5 years goes by, you graduate, and you're like, wait, how do I actually do this? So we focus on testing out real ideas, getting feedback from day one. We have networking opportunities for students. Students are allowed to gain credit through internships. And you both have mentioned these, our student clubs, our competitions, such as the Climb, which runs every April, the Rep Bridges Venture Fund, which allows students the opportunity to invest in actual businesses and really consider investment opportunities within actual businesses and test that stuff out, as well as mentorships with local entrepreneurs, putting you in a position where you're face to face with entrepreneurs, and you get to pitch your idea. And a lot of the time, the entrepreneurs, they don't hold back and they say, I like 10% of this and the rest of this needs to go. And you're like, what are you talking about? I just spent all this time working on it. I built out my overall plan. And they're like, let me tell you exactly why. And they give you a full breakdown. Lukas mentioned, going to the gym, listening to entrepreneurial podcasts. Those are huge, huge opportunities for insights into entrepreneurs. Imagine having those conversations where an entrepreneur tells you, this is why I would not do what you are doing right now, face to face about your business concept. It's an invaluable opportunity that can be challenging at first. I won't lie. I've spoken with students who come out of meetings with entrepreneurs. So they're like, man, I really thought I was doing something right, and now I feel like I need to throw it up in the air and figure it out again. But that's why you're in school. That's the whole reason you're in school, is because you're here to learn. You're here to really develop your overall skills. So I encourage all students, embrace the idea of experiential learning. It'll really help develop thick skin. Hearing no over and over again is something that entrepreneurs have to get really good at. And having that opportunity now, rather than financially and emotionally and personally taking all those risks without education, personally, a little biased, but personally, I think that is the better path to go down. Speaking of, we have an advisory council that works with our students. They work at our events as well. These are some of Colorado's strongest innovators and industry experts. People like Joel Apple, the co-founder of OxyClean, Orange Glow, Kaboom, and Zadie's Deli. Also, one of our professors teaches ENTP 6024, meets with students on a regular basis, offers students the opportunity to pitch him on investment. And as Lukas mentioned, will often take students up on, hey, I'll throw a little bit of money into this because I think that this is a great opportunity. Karen Hertz, she created the largest gluten-free brewery in America. It's here in Golden, Colorado. Saw a rising industry and also said, I can't drink normal beer because I'm gluten intolerant. How do I work around this? She created a brewery here. That type of innovation we're always thinking of. Sam Kumar, who works within the cybersecurity industry. We just have people from all over industry that work with us. There are internships and networking opportunities with these people as well. They also are able to serve as mentors for our students. I want to jump through here just because I know we are on a little bit of a time crunch. I want to just share some thoughts here about the Business Career Center. This is a separate center here in the business school. We are partnered with them. This is just another opportunity for students in our program to gain access to the larger corporate job market and professional development opportunities here in Denver. They have access to career fairs, industry shadow days. They introduce students to various firms. They can help from a mock interview, resume, salary negotiation, internship, and job search method. So do not pass up working with the Business Career Center along with the Jake Jab Center for Entrepreneurship. Both pathways can really help students from a overall development and business acumen standpoint. From a tuition standpoint, I'll just throw this here on the screen. I can send more information about this for people with questions, but this is our in-state versus our non-resident tuition rate. I will just note that our non-resident graduate tuition rate applies to both U.S. citizens who are not Colorado residents as well as international students. It's also about $500 less than what the business school at large charges. We are an independently financed center here in the business school, so while we match in-state rates, we ultimately charge far less for out-of-state international students. So still a very affordable program, even if you're in-state and getting charged in-state rates, about $26,000. The highest end, if you're an international student doing the program in person, can be around 34. Still quite a fraction of what you would anticipate from a small business MBA program, essentially. Application. So we're just over a month away from the final application due date for the fall 2025 term. For all domestic students, both Colorado residents and non-Colorado U.S. applicants, the application is very straightforward. Short answer questions, updated resume, and transcripts. There's no GMAT, and there's no GRE. References in the interview are optional. The application fee is $50. However, if you can show proof that you attended this event, you will get an app fee waiver. And down below are deadlines, July 15th. Really quickly, Lucas, any advice you have for anyone who is starting their application?
For application, I mean, attend this, watch this video, get $50, off your waiver. That's great. But as far as the program, once you start, take advantage of every single opportunity. Go to every single event, try to do as many in-person classes as possible, and reach out to all the professors. They all want to talk to you. They all want to hear what's going on with your life. So take advantage.
True. Very true. That's very true. Nick, any thoughts on the application? Did you have any kind of secret wisdom you wanted to share?
Actually something that kind of like I saw on here that I don't know how many of you on this call are like coming from other universities and not from the University of Colorado system. But I don't know how long it takes to get a like an official transcript. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I have a question. Is it official transcripts or unofficial transcripts that are needed
A
in the
great
application?
question. So we will work with you from an application standpoint for an unofficial transcript. You will need an official transcript by the end of your first term. So I always advise
Okay.
students get the unofficial and request the official at the same time. But that's a great question.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I would say, if anyone has like any questions or anything like that, and they can always reach out, personally, like to me, or Brian's also very helpful. I know that when I was applying, I had a one-on-one meeting with you, and that was really and like helpful in my application process and stuff. And I think that sometimes that one-on-one meeting can like really show like your character, and like you can talk about your goals, and I don't know, sometimes it can be helpful. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. And I mean,
Uh,
I
my
I
advice.
don't want to pat myself on the back, but one thing that you get in this program that you don't get in other programs here in the business school is dedicated one-on-one advising. Most students who take graduate level programs work with our team of advisors who are basically one advisor to about 50 students. sometimes higher than that. I work with just our entrepreneurship students. So we're a small, tight-knit program, and I work with all of our students to make sure that you all feel as though you're getting personalized attention. And if there's issues you're facing, if there's challenges, that we're able to work with you through them. International
That kind
students,
of
I will throw this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. That just kind of reminded me of one other thing. It's like I've only been in this program for a semester now, going into I guess my third 8 week session. Anyways, but I'm already on a first name basis with pretty much everybody who works in the Jake Jobs Center. It's a really small, tight knit team, tight knit program. If you want those personal connections and not a giant lecture hall, like this is definitely like it's very community based, and it's you can get a lot of value out of it, by having like a personal relationship with your advisor, which was unheard of in undergrad, you know. But then also on top of that, just like the whole staff, you really get close with everyone, which is cool.
Love it. I appreciate that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We try to be as welcoming and accommodating as possible to students, and we love engaging with and talking with all of our students here in the program because ultimately we're doing this here for you guys. Really, really quickly, just on an international applicant basis, I know we have a few international students here on the call. The application has closed for the fall 2025 term. However, it is open currently for spring 2026. So if you are an international student, you want to go back to school, priority deadline there is October 15th. Final deadline is December 15th. Plenty of time right now to get everything finished. Only differences for international students are your international credential evaluation. We can take care of that here at CU Denver, as well as English language proficiency assessment here. All right, moving right along. Scholarships. I will just leave this up here really quick. I'll go through this really quickly. You are eligible to receive a scholarship for any entrepreneurship course you take on an as needed basis. All the scholarship information is posted here on the screen. The Mordecai Scholarship is what we utilize. All the information is up here. You have to apply on a term by term basis. I will remind students ahead of our terms to apply for scholarships, but please just be mindful of that. This is something you have to apply for each term. And then two quick student testimonials that I want to share in addition to what we've heard from our wonderful co-hosts here today. So Miguel Castillo just graduated here in spring 2025. He noted, I joined the MS Entrepreneurship program while running my wedding catering and entertainment business. I had reached a point where I needed guidance and the right tools to grow. After joining the program and recognizing my strengths, I pivoted to focus fully on the entertainment side. I also realized the power of research, how it can elevate your decision making as a business owner. The program's flexibility and direct focus on entrepreneurship made it the right fit for where I was and where I wanted to go. The climb has been one of the most valuable experiences I could have imagined. Getting the chance to refine an idea, pitch it, and get real feedback from mentors and professionals who know what they're talking about made a huge difference. I plan to keep growing my entertainment business and launch new ventures along the way. Long term, I want to keep innovating and creating things that matter, building business that reflect who I am and what I stand for. And then Joey Dykman graduated last spring, 2024. He noted that one of my favorite aspects about the MS Entrepreneurship program is the hands-on experience you get in each class. It's not just regurgitating knowledge and following a textbook. It really feels like the instructors care about you and want to foster your development through these programs. You're able to bounce your ideas off fellow students and faculty members. It's really great culture and a great place to learn. And with that, before we go, I just want to hand off the mic here to Lukas and Nick. Any parting words, any parting thoughts that you have for our wonderful attendees?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, take every single opportunity. Looking back, there was, things that I didn't do that I'm like, like I wish so badly that I did because it's just another opportunity to, expand your network, excel yourself, and grow as a person and an entrepreneur. Literally every single opportunity you can take it, whether it's a
Love that.
coffee or it's an event.
Yeah. Yeah. Just be as active as possible because you never know who you're going to
Exactly.
meet, all that sort of stuff. I love that. Nick, what about yourself? You still got time within the program, but any parting thoughts of wisdom that you have for people?
I would also, kind of emphasize that as well. Like I have this thing lately. I've been like, say yes to everything, like do everything, like all, you know what I'm saying, and try to just like show up. I think that there's a lot of impact in that. I think, something, if any of y'all have your own like businesses right now, I can assure you that going through this program will be so good for your business and for opening up the doors to funding opportunities, to mentorship, to a network of other people who are, founders themselves. I think that that's really impactful. And lastly, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Because I know we kind of ran out of time today. But yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
of
absolutely.
course,
Absolutely.
reach
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
That's a great last point there because we have a number of fantastic student ambassadors who are eager to answer questions. I'm more than happy to connect prospective students with our student ambassadors. You can get a lot of great information from me. I'm more than happy to share, but I am not in the program. I work for the program. I'm a firm believer that if you have questions and you want to know what a program is really like, the best way to do it is to talk directly with a student who's in the program. So do not hesitate to reach out about that. We will facilitate that, and you can you can take Nick and Lucas's time as much as you want. They will answer questions with a smile, give you the real honest opinion here. So we're more than happy to facilitate that. If there's any questions anyone has, please don't hesitate to throw it in the chat. I will just note here that my contact info is on the page here right now. So I'll leave this live for a couple minutes if there's any questions. Otherwise, if there's not, I will wish you all a great Tuesday. And I hope that you all complete your application to work with us.
Did you see Nathan or Nathaniel in the chat?
Yes. Nathaniel, go ahead and type in your question.
Okay, so would you want me to type or I should speak?
You can speak. That's totally fine as well.
Okay, so let me speak. I prefer talking. Thank you very much for this program. I believe that this has been very, very insightful, and it has really opened my eye personally. And I would love to be in this school. I mean, I would love to study in this very school because looking at the few research I've done by myself, when I compare this school to other schools, I believe that this school is far ahead of other schools. Yeah, and that's very true. So I would like to thank you. However, I would also want to find out that in the process of going through the program or studying the course, are you
Nathaniel, I cannot hear you
mentioned earlier
anymore.
that we are going to have
Oh,
encounter with
oh.
industry players and all that? But can you hear
Hey,
me?
Nathan. Hey, yeah, I can hear you now.
Hello.
Can you start the question over again?
Yeah. So I'm saying that I am an international student,
Yeah.
and along the line, maybe as I do the program, I study the course, maybe I would have one or two business ideas that I would want to establish as the program goes on or continues. And you also mentioned earlier that we are going to have encounter with industry players. Now, I would like to find out, I would like to know that is it possible that there is a way or there is a platform or a system that you can solicit fund from this industry experts or players to start something on your own? I mean, to get something started on your own.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we can't. So I'll just begin. We aren't able to guarantee that all students are able to receive investment funds from business leaders. It really is it's like entrepreneurship at large. You have the opportunity to develop and pitch ideas and potentially obtain uh, um, uh, obtain funds and obtain investment from industry leaders who are, interested in your idea, who believe in your idea, who believe that your concept will bring them a return. So, as we were mentioning, through things like the climb, through mentorship opportunities, through internship opportunities, you will have the ability to pitch your idea to investors, which can put you in a position ultimately where you are able to obtain funds that you can build out your idea. I just want to be clear for all students on the call, it's not a guarantee that we can promise, but it is certainly the opportunity will be facilitated for all students who are interested and willing to do so, to pitch their ideas to investors, to put them in a position where they're able to grow their business, in actuality.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So my last question, please. I am an international student and maybe I'm in Ghana. So if I get to the US and maybe the program starts and let's say I have my business ideas that I want to do, is it possible I start those business ideas in the US? Or because I'm an international student, are we allowed to
I lost you again, Nathaniel. It sounds like the mic moved a little bit away. You mentioned you're in Ghana. You want to start your business in the US, and then I lost it.
Yeah, I'm asking that I am an international student, specifically from Ghana.
Yep.
So, as the program goes on, I have business ideas that I want to establish, and that's why I'm choosing this particular course. So, as an international student, being on a temporary visa for study, is it possible I can start my own businesses in the US?
It's a great question. So, anything beyond the program, you have 1 year on your F1 visa of work eligibility. We have a international student scholarly services department that we will align you with, and you'll work with from a visa application standpoint and from a overall eligibility standpoint throughout the overall program. So you'll have a relationship with that department, which will put you in a position where you're able to communicate with them specifically about visa eligibility beyond the program from a working standpoint. In terms of can you stay and start your business, it is certainly not unheard of. It really comes down to the circumstances of will you have the work authorization and the opportunity to build out your overall business here in Denver, and by doing so, will you have the eligibility to stay here? So absolutely an opportunity. Not a guarantee, again, similar to the investment, but absolutely an opportunity, and you'll have contacts with whom to speak with throughout the overall program and the time that you're here.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. I'm very much grateful, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nathaniel, and thank you to everyone who joined us here today. Again, my contact information is on the page. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you to Nick and to Lukas for sharing their thoughts here today. This has been very helpful and very insightful. I'm going to post this recording here to YouTube within the next day, and I'll send it out to any students who are not here. So please feel free to review. And in the meantime, best of luck on your applications, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone here in the fall. Thanks all so much.
Thank you, too.
Thank you. See ya.